But Sunday, the 2nd of September, 1984, was a Father's Day like no other.
You got to remember, I was marked to die.
Action News this noon is the investigation into a deadly mass shooting in Gray's Ferry that left 3 people dead and 10 others.
September 2nd, 1984. 7 bodies lay scattered across a restaurant parking lot in Sydney. A 14-year-old girl caught in the crossfire. December 2024. Australian authorities intercept 2.3 tons of cocaine, the largest drug bust in the nation's history. The common thread? 2 motorcycle clubs locked in a decades-long war that spans 5 continents, controls billions in drug money, and leaves a trail of blood from Texas to Turkey. Connection Loop. This isn't just about leather jackets and motorcycles. This is the untold story of how 2 rival gangs transformed into international criminal empires, battling for control of the global drug trade. From the streets of Houston to the ports of Colombia, their war has reshaped organized crime worldwide. March 4th, 1966. Donald Eugene Chambers, a 36-year-old dock worker in San Leon, Texas, founded the Bandidos Motorcycle Club. The name came from a chance encounter in 1965 during a trip to Mexico when a waitress referred to Chambers and his friends as American Bandidos. By March 1966, the club was official, with its headquarters in Houston becoming the mother chapter. The Bandidos adopted the 1%er label, a reference to the claim that 99% of motorcyclists follow the law, while they proudly represented the rebellious 1%. Their patch featured a Mexican bandit wearing a sombrero, carrying both a machete and a pistol, symbolizing their defiance of authority. Under the leadership of Ronald Jerome Hodge, who took over as president in 1972, the Bandidos began their international expansion. Hodge earned the nickname Mr. Prospect for the remarkably short time it took him to become a full member, and later became known as Stepmother, in deference to Chambers' title of Mother. In 1983, the Bandidos made their first international move when Anthony Mark Spencer established a chapter in Sydney, Australia. Spencer had visited the United States and met with Bandidos members in Texas, forming connections that would later have explosive consequences. This expansion marked the beginning of the Bandidos' transformation from a Texas motorcycle club into a global criminal organization. By 1989, the club had established its first European chapter in Marseille, France. Throughout the 1990s, they expanded aggressively into Nordic countries, leading to violent conflicts with rival clubs. Today, law enforcement agencies estimate the Bandidos have 303 chapters across 22 countries, with between 3,000 and 3,500 members worldwide, making them the 4th largest motorcycle club globally. The United States Department of Justice, Criminal Intelligence Service Canada, Europol, and the Australian Federal Police all classify the Bandidos as a criminal organization. They're accused of drug trafficking, arms dealing, prostitution, extortion, money laundering, and murder across multiple continents. Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, another empire was taking shape. In 1966, the same year the Bandidos were founded, William George Jock Ross established the Comanchero Motorcycle Club in Sydney, Australia. Ross, a Scottish immigrant who had served in the British Army's Royal Engineers, named his club after the 1961 John Wayne film, The Comancheros. Ross ran his club with military precision, giving himself the grandiose title of Supreme Commander. He implemented weekly paramilitary drills and created an elite unit called the Strike Force. Many members resented his authoritarian leadership style, with one former member later telling media, "If I wanted to march around in the backyard, I would have joined the army." In 1982, tensions within the Comancheros led Anthony Mark Spencer, yes, the same Spencer who would later found the Bandidos Australian chapter, to establish a second Comanchero chapter in Sydney's Birch Grove. During a trip to the United States in 1983, Spencer met Bandidos President Ronnie Hodge in Albuquerque, New Mexico. The meeting was strategic. At that time, P2P, a chemical necessary for manufacturing amphetamines, was legal in Australia but illegal in the United States. The Bandidos wanted an alliance to smuggle P2P into America to fuel their Texas-based amphetamine market. Hodge offered to teach Spencer how to manufacture amphetamines. Spencer returned to Australia, talking about joining the Bandidos. In November 1983, his entire Comanchero chapter broke away and became the first Bandidos chapter in Australia. They ceremonially burned their Comanchero colors, a symbolic act that would have deadly consequences. The betrayal enraged Jock Ross. In August 1984, Ross declared war on the Bandidos after several violent incidents between the clubs. What followed was a massacre that would forever change Australian biker culture. On September 2nd, 1984, Father's Day in Australia, both clubs were scheduled to attend a motorcycle swap meet at the Viking Tavern in Milperra, a Sydney suburb. At 1 p.m., 19 Comancheros, led by Jock Ross, arrived at the tavern. They positioned themselves strategically, some in hiding, using walkie-talkies for communication. Ross planned a pincer movement based on military tactics he'd read about. At 1:20 p.m., 34 Bandidos members arrived. Weapons were distributed. A verbal argument erupted, then escalated into full-scale warfare. For 10 minutes, the parking lot became a battleground with guns, baseball bats, and knives. When police arrived, 7 people were dead. 4 Comancheros were killed, 2 Bandidos died, and tragically, 14-year-old Leanne Walters, an innocent bystander attending the swap meet, was struck by a stray point, .357 Magnum bullet and killed instantly. 28 others were wounded. The Milperra Massacre became one of Australia's most infamous crimes. 57 members from both clubs received lengthy prison sentences. Ross received a life sentence but served only 5 years before release. The massacre led to strict gun law reforms in New South Wales and became a catalyst for law enforcement crackdowns on motorcycle gangs nationwide. But the war didn't end in that parking lot. It evolved, went global, and shifted from territorial battles to something far more lucrative: international drug trafficking. Fast forward to December 2024. Australian Federal Police intercepted a vessel off the coast of Queensland. Inside, 2.3 tons of cocaine, Australia's largest ever drug seizure. The operation was allegedly orchestrated by the Brisbane chapter of the Comancheros, with the vice president among those arrested. The syndicate had purchased 2 boats. Both broke down during the operation, spending $150,000 on the second vessel to reach a mother ship, stationed 460 kilometers offshore in international waters. Authorities believe the cocaine originated in South America, likely Colombia. The street value would have reached hundreds of millions of dollars. This single operation exemplifies how the Comancheros evolved from a local Sydney club into a transnational criminal enterprise. The Comancheros' drug operations aren't limited to Australia. In June 2021, Operation Trojan Shield, a massive international sting operation led by the FBI, exposed the gang's global network. Law enforcement agencies had infiltrated ANOM, an encrypted communication platform used by criminals worldwide. The operation revealed the Comancheros' plan to import massive quantities of methamphetamine and cocaine into New Zealand using a mother ship strategy. 37 search warrants were executed across New Zealand's North Island. 35 people were arrested, including senior Comancheros members, facing nearly 1,000 drug dealing and money laundering charges. Police seized $3.7 million in assets, 20 ounces of methamphetamine, multiple kilograms of iodine, 4 firearms, 14 vehicles, and over $1 million in cash. In October 2024, New Zealand authorities revealed another audacious plot. A Comanchero gang member orchestrated the importation of 199 kilograms of methamphetamine while serving a prison sentence. The drugs were hidden inside 4 wheat thresher machines shipped from Dubai. The inmate used smuggled cell phones to coordinate the operation via encrypted apps. The Comancheros' reach extends to Turkey, where authorities arrest 37 suspected members in operations across Istanbul in 2023. The investigation revealed the gang operated under leader Hakan Ayuk, coordinating drug trafficking across Australia, Hong Kong, New Zealand, and the Netherlands. By February 2025, Turkish authorities had charged 66 Comanchero members with drug trafficking, with the leader facing up to 262 years in prison. Between 2019 and 2021, international law enforcement agencies seized 3,812 kilograms of drugs linked to the Comancheros through their encrypted communication networks. The gang funneled drugs from South America through South Korea and South Africa into global markets. The Bandidos weren't idle spectators in this drug war. In October 2021, a joint operation involving Belgian federal police and Spanish national police resulted in 26 raids across Belgium, the Netherlands, and Spain. Authorities seized 11,497 kilograms of cocaine hidden in scrap metal shipments from South America to Antwerp. The president of the Bandidos in Spain, a Belgian national, was arrested in Marbella and charged with drug trafficking, money laundering, and leading a criminal organization. Police also confiscated 4 high-end vehicles worth over 700,000 euros and jewelry valued at 300,000 euros. In the United States, federal operations consistently target Bandidos' drug networks. In September 2011, 8 members and associates in Colorado were indicted for trafficking methamphetamine and cocaine. That same month, 3 members of the San Antonio chapter were arrested for possession with intent to distribute over 500 grams of cocaine. The following day, 27 club members and associates were arrested in Dallas on charges of conspiracy to possess and distribute heroin, methamphetamine, and cocaine. In February 2025, 14 Bandidos members and associates were indicted on RICO and murder charges in Texas. The indictment revealed the gang operates with approximately 1,500 to 2,000 members in the United States and an additional 1,000 to 1,500 internationally, including strong connections in Mexico. The rivalry between these organizations occasionally turns public and deadly. May 17, 2015. The Twin Peaks restaurant in Waco, Texas became a war zone. More than 200 bikers had gathered for a meeting of the Texas Confederation of Clubs and Independents. The Bandidos and a rival club called the Cossacks had been feuding over territory and the right to wear Texas patches. 18 Waco police officers and 4 state troopers had positioned themselves outside, anticipating trouble. Just after noon, violence erupted. What started as a verbal altercation escalated into a full shootout with guns, knives, chains, and baseball bats. Police officers fired their rifles, striking several bikers. When the smoke cleared, 9 bikers lay dead, 7 Cossacks, 1 Bandido, and 1 member of another club. 18 others were wounded. Authorities arrested 177 people at the scene, charging them all with engaging in organized criminal activity. However, the prosecution's case collapsed. Only 1 trial proceeded, ending in mistrial. By April 2019, all charges were dropped. 0 convictions despite 9 deaths. The Waco shootout revealed the Bandidos' power structure. In May 2018, National President Jeffrey Pike and Vice President Xavier Portillo were convicted on federal racketeering, drug trafficking, conspiracy to commit murder, and extortion charges after a 3-month trial in San Antonio. Prosecutors proved Pike had approved a declaration of war on the Cossacks that led to the Twin Peaks violence. Today, both organizations continue operating despite intense law enforcement pressure. On November 29, 2024, Australia's National Task Force Morpheus conducted coordinated raids targeting the Comancheros, resulting in 33 arrests on 78 charges, including extortion, drug trafficking, and firearms offenses. In December 2017, the Netherlands became the first country to ban the Bandidos entirely, after a court in Utrecht declared the organization a threat to public order. Germany has also banned individual chapters across multiple cities. The international drug war between these organizations has claimed hundreds of lives, generated billions in illegal profits, and fundamentally altered the landscape of transnational organized crime. What began as rival motorcycle clubs in the 1960s has evolved into sophisticated criminal enterprises operating across 5 continents. From the Milperra Massacre parking lot in 1984 to the 2.3-ton cocaine bust in 2024, The Bandidos and Comancheros have written 4 decades of violence and criminality. Their war continues in the shadows, in encrypted communications, offshore drug transfers, and international money laundering operations. Law enforcement agencies worldwide have declared both organizations criminal enterprises, yet they persist, adapt, and expand. The battle for control of the global drug trade rages on, with new chapters opening, new alliances forming, and new routes established. The question isn't whether these organizations will be stopped. The question is how many more lives will be lost before international cooperation can truly dismantle these criminal empires that began with 2 men, 2 visions, and 2 motorcycle clubs in 1966.